After conservative activist Charlie Kirk was shot to death, the vice president is now en route, flying Kirk's body and his family back here to Arizona. This is where he lived and where his company Turning Point USA is based. Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks so much for joining us for 12 News at 4. I'm Tram Mai.
And I'm Troy Hayden. Kirk's body being flown on Air Force Two. Again, right now, Vice President J.D. Vance on the plane with Kirk's young family. Live images here from Sky Harbor Airport. Air Force Two took off from Salt Lake City just about a half hour ago. Obviously, we've got a very stepped up security presence and police presence there with the Vice President. He is not expected to get off of Air Force Two and actually leave the airport. He's expected to kind of just drop off Kirk's body and his family, and then they will make their trip with the motorcade. So Air Force Two took off from Salt Lake City just about a half an hour ago. So it's likely the plane will arrive at Sky Harbor in the next 30, maybe 45 minutes. Of course, we will be live for that.
And right now, Bianca Bono, she is live at Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport. And Bianca, we know it's still early. He is en route from Salt Lake City, Utah. But what can you tell us?
Well, right now we're standing on the rooftop of the Terminal 4 parking garage awaiting the arrival of Air Force Two. As you mentioned, we're told that plane took off from Utah at about 3:30, so it should be touching down here in Phoenix within the next hour. I'll step out of the way so we could zoom in towards the executive terminal as we anticipate that's where Air Force Two will be touching down. On board, in addition to Charlie Kirk's casket, is Charlie Kirk's wife, Erica, his two young children, the Vice President, J.D. Vance, and Second Lady, Usha Vance. They will all be arriving here in Phoenix. You mentioned a security presence that has certainly been visible in and around Sky Harbor, not only at the executive terminal, but essentially all around the area of Sky Harbor. We also did see a white hearse arrive in the area of that executive terminal a couple of hours ago in anticipation of Charlie Kirk's body returning back home to Arizona. A little bit of background. Yesterday, after news of Kirk's assassination broke, Vice President Vance was very candid on social media about his relationship, which is deeply personal, with Charlie Kirk. He said that he met him back in 2017 after appearing on Tucker Carlson's show. He said he received a message from a person he didn't know at the time. That was Charlie Kirk, telling him he did a good job, and the two of them got to talking, and it turns out they shared a lot of the same conservative ideas. He was candid about the fact that both of them were a little bit skeptical of President Donald Trump starting back in 2016, but of course the two of them certainly came around. He said that Charlie Kirk was one of the first people he talked to when he was considering running for office, and he said that Charlie Kirk was one of the most influential voices to President Trump when selecting him as vice presidential running mate. He said that Charlie Kirk was supportive to him after being named the vice presidential nominee, the impact that had on his family, namely his oldest child. He said Charlie Kirk was one of the few people that was constantly checking in to see how he and his family were doing. So clearly a very deeply personal connection between the vice president and Charlie Kirk. We know the vice president was initially today supposed to be spending it at a memorial for 9/11. Instead, he is here. So again, we are waiting for Air Force Two's arrival. I will tell you that several supporters of Charlie Kirk have started arriving here on the rooftop of the parking garage. They have American flags. They're wearing shirts in Charlie Kirk's memory. We'll hopefully start talking to them as they continue to show up over the next half hour or so, but we are keeping a very close eye on the runway here, guys.
Yeah, and it shows you the regard that the Trump administration, the president and the vice president have for Charlie Kirk, that the vice president is personally bringing him back here to Arizona. And we should point out again, if we can, that Terminal 2 is, most of us when we fly to Sky Harbor, it's Terminal 3 or Terminal 4. Those are the main terminals. Terminal 2 is kind of off on its own, and it's much easier to basically secure, isn't it?
Oh, no question about it. It essentially sits on its own. And of course, on a day like today, there is absolutely no way that the general public is getting anywhere near that executive terminal. There is so much security here. Phoenix police, certainly, they are used to this type of arrival. We have, of course, watched Air Force One touch down in this terminal many, many times, but they are used to patrolling and having a security plan of this nature. It is on its own, completely separate, to your point, from Terminal 3 and Terminal 4.
Bianca, I'm wondering, after Air Force Two arrives, and obviously J.D. Vance and Usha Vance We don't know if they'll still remain in the plane, but I'm wondering, after that casket is delivered, where does it go from there?
It's a good question. We know that there is a white hearse that is stationed here preparing to take it to a mortuary. We will likely be following that as well. But again, Charlie Kirk did call Phoenix and Arizona and the Valley home. So we will see what the plans are immediately after touching down. We'll also see if the vice president comes down with the casket. There were some images that came out of Utah showing him help to carry that casket onto Air Force Two. So we will likely see him stepping off the plane once they arrive here.
All right, so if you're just joining us, we're expecting the vice president's plane that is carrying the body of Charlie Kirk along with his family in about a half an hour to maybe 40 minutes. So Bianca Bono, you are out there. As soon as we get sight of the vice president's plane, we are going to break in live, no commercial breaks, and we will have that entire arrival plus the moving of Charlie Kirk's body to that mortuary. So Bianca, thank you.